Let's hear directly from some unschooling teens. I remember when I first learned about unschooling, I wondered how all the students in school would react if they suddenly became aware of this secret culture of people thriving outside of school. It made me think of countries ruled by dictators, where when people finally got internet access and started discovering that the rest of the world had democracy, they were outraged and began protesting. I wondered if students in school would react the same way. But how could kids in school see that teens around the world are unschooling? How could I make this feel real and not just some abstract idea they read about in a blog? One way that I hope to expose teens in school to unschooling was through co-producing the podcast Youth on Subjects of the World. While it is not necessarily a podcast about unschooling, most of the teens featured on it are unschoolers. Here are a few quotes directly from a couple teen unschoolers who appeared on episode number 6, where we specifically discussed education. This is reference 76. Right now, at least in the United States, education for a lot of people is being ruled through fear. If you don't do this, you're not going to get a job. Parents fear their child won't succeed. And children fear, if I get this grade, I get a reward, but if I don't get this grade, I get a punishment. Education should be an interesting, beneficial experience for children. They should learn to associate education as having fun and learning things, not as a fear of punishment. That's from Neil. The next quote. I think education is very important, but education and school are not necessarily the same thing. You can learn all the things you've ever needed to learn in life without setting foot in a school. The forcefulness of having your entire life dictated by someone else until you're 18 creates something where you don't want to learn. It's not healthy to be told your entire life what to do, because then you're expecting to be told what to do by the time everyone expects you to make your own decisions. That's from Martin. And again, that's reference 76. In addition to helping co-produce the podcast, I created the Peer Unschooling Network, also known as PUN, which is a digital community that connects unschoolers and other self-directed learners around the world. Reference 77. You are certainly free to go speak with the youth that are on that website, but I will share with you some of what they have shared with me. When the site was first launched, I asked the teens on PUN what their favorite thing about being an unschooler was. The unschoolers who responded are from many different countries and backgrounds, with ages ranging from 13 to 20. Some of them are new to unschooling, and some have been doing it their whole lives. Here's what they said. Reference 78. My favorite things are the flexibility of my schedule, being able to choose who I hang out with, and not being stressed about when assignments are due, etc. Next one. I have just been homeschooled unschooled since I was 11 because school was treating me pretty badly. So a few of my favorite things about being an unschooler are 1, there aren't any bullies here or anywhere else. 2, I get to spend more time doing the things I love, like editing pictures or writing short stories. And 3, I don't get compared or compare myself to other people's work. I get to decide if I'm not working hard enough for this particular subject. I get to change my schedule or curriculum if it doesn't fit me, so in a way, I'm like my own teacher to myself. All right, next one. Freedom. To explore our interests, freedom to fail and learn from it, freedom to associate with others on my own terms rather than forced in a classroom. Next one. Honestly, to me, everything comes down to time. I get to spend more time on subjects that I am interested in. I also get to work at my own pace. I've had a few experiences trying to work in a more contemporary classroom setting, and it just frustrated me having to wait for other students when I already had a concept down or vice versa. It also lets me travel during off-seasons when flights are cheaper. The actual education itself was never a big challenge. I'm 19 and I'm employed, I have my college fully paid for, and I've traveled more than most of my friends. I did what they did, but with more free time and adventure. Next one. Being able to be around people that are kind and helpful. Being free and traveling to new places. Choosing my own abilities and what I want to learn. Plus, being accepted for who I am instead of being around people who don't generally like differences. Going to mainstream school, especially public, there aren't many people who are mature, honest, or conscious. and then you feel oppressed and totally out of place. Next one. Learning things at my own pace, having more time for friends, and having freedom. I have a lot of friends, some across the country. I know a lot of friends in my area, a few go to public school, so it's really hard to see them because how busy they are with school. But I love having so much free time to do what I want and choose what I put my time into. I wouldn't want to live any other way. Next. Pretty much that I can choose what I want to learn and then go as in-depth as I want into that area. Last one. I'd have to say, having the freedom to learn what is most meaningful to you would be the best overall. Being able to spend more time with family and friends is pretty great too, and so is getting to take my time on things. If you want to sum it up, probably just the no-holds-barred approach to doing what is meaningful in my life. And again, that's all reference 78. I will admit, these teens do make unschooling sound pretty amazing. I don't mean to oversell it. Please keep in mind, I did ask all of them what their favorite part about being unschooled was. I can relate to a lot of what they describe because I do a lot of self-directed learning as an adult. One aspect of this lifestyle which I could not relate to, however, was the unique social challenges of living this lifestyle as a teen. I wondered how teen unschoolers made friends without school, or how they dealt with the stigma of being different than other people because of their lifestyle choices. I'll admit, social challenges are issues I still deal with in my adult life. Being a traveler and entrepreneur, I struggle with making friends and building close connections. And my unfortunate run-ins with the stigmatizing mental health system has made me feel quite different than other people. Although I definitely feel isolated at times, I can combat that by traveling to events or communities where I can find like-minded people. I'm not sure I would have had access to these same opportunities when I was a teen, but it's impossible for me to go back in time now. I wanted to get beneath the surface of all the positive things that unschooling seemed to offer and learn about the downsides as well. I wanted to know about their problems and challenges too, not just the benefits. A mentor of mine at Valley Venture Mentors, Tom Fox, gave me great advice to learn about people's problems. Ask them questions like, what is your greatest challenge? Or if you could wave a magic wand and change anything, what would you change? Or what's the most frustrating part of your day? People love talking about their problems, much more than their successes, so don't be surprised if they go on for a while. Reference 79. I went and asked the same teens on PUN about their challenges and frustrations as unschoolers. This is how they responded. Reference 80. First one. The social aspects can sometimes be difficult, but really, other than that, the challenges are the same as any other high schooler. Though it kinda is a stereotype, there is some truth to it in that homeschoolers have no friends, which is not true of most people, but it is harder to make friends because you're not around other kids 12 hours a day, so it's easier to make friends, but coming back to my earliest point, you make friends you actually like. Next one. People keep mistaking me for antisocial and introverted just for the reason that I'm homeschooled. I like talking to people, and I'm pretty much the exact opposite of introvert. It's a terrible stereotype that homeschooler equals antisocial. Next one. Mostly trying to explain to people that I'm still learning and I didn't drop out of school. To avoid conversations like that, I just tell people I homeschool instead of unschool, which is what I am actually doing. Next one. Participating in certain team sports can be more challenging without the same programs schools provide. Also, some places require schools to allow homeschoolers to join certain extracurricular activities. Next one. The feeling that I'm not doing enough. It feels like if I have the ability to do anything in the world, I should be this rich, famous prodigy. Next one. The downsides are probably having to create your own program rather than having it all set out in a curriculum, and having no one to set deadlines and motivate you. Rather, you have to do it yourself and create your own community to support and motivate you. Next one. Actually, there is nothing that I dislike. The only thing that has cost me work is to take responsibility for my time and take advantage of it. You know, in a school, they always tell you what time you should do things, but now it is my responsibility. It is great, but not easy. Last one. It's probably just me, but I'm doubting myself too much. I feel this need to be this super awesome unschooler, and I feel that I'm not awesome enough. It's like when you're an unschooler, you have to be really good at everything, and if you're not, then you're a failure. At least that's the impression I get from other people. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. And again, that's all reference 80. As you can see, life isn't magically perfect for unschoolers. I'm here to give you a balanced truth without rose-tinted glasses. I did my best to get quotes directly from teens living this life so you could hear directly from them. As you noticed, most of their challenges are not related to their learning. They are related to social challenges. And keep in mind, the 3 main places I've met unschoolers have been unschooling conferences, summer camps for unschoolers, and the Peer Unschooling Network. Because these 3 places are specific gathering points for unschoolers who are seeking community and connection, it may be that my research has self-selected for teens who are having trouble finding friends. I can't claim that these interviews speak for the entire population of unschoolers, which is quite diverse. And not to be alarmed, in the 3 years that the Peer Unschooling Network has been running, I've noticed a promising trend. PUN tends to attract teens when they first transition to unschooling and are trying to navigate their new social landscape and make friends. They tend to make a few friends on the site and quickly move on with their life. This creates a challenge for me of maintaining a sustainable community, but it also means that teen unschoolers are generally overcoming these social challenges pretty quickly. Specifically, unschoolers have expressed to me that after leaving the school system, they find their social opportunities expand dramatically because they now feel free to make friends with people of any age from any town, not just same-age students from their own town that happen to be placed in their school classes. Most notable is that you'll notice from their responses that not a single person mentioned that their greatest challenge is related to learning. This is not to say that unschooling solves all of life's problems, but learning is not their biggest problem.